welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something pretty fundamental, wouldn't you say? This core tension in being human.
Absolutely. It's this paradox you see everywhere, from ancient thinking right up to, well, today.
Right. The idea that we're supposed to be the architects of our own lives, making the plans, putting in the work.
And yet, at the very same time, we're clearly subject to these massive forces, things just way beyond our control or even understanding.
It's that clash, isn't it, between intense effort, needing that diligence, and then this almost radical acceptance of what we can't influence.
Yeah, and that's the tightrope. You have to commit to, let's call it perfect practice, strategy, real persistence. But if you hang all your hopes, all your emotional weight on outcomes you just can't guarantee, well, you're going to break.
So knowing when to push hard and when to sort of step back and accept,
Yeah.
that's the key.
That's exactly what we want to unpack in this deep dive. How do you actually do that? How do you strive for excellence in what you do, but also find real, genuine peace? Not just one or the other.
And we're pulling from quite a range of sources. Stoicism, the Greek idea of fate, even coaches like Lombardi, thinkers like Seth Godin.
It's about finding that path. And maybe the shortcut, if there is one, isn't about trying to grab total control because, let's face it, that's an illusion. It's more about getting crystal clear on the small circle of things you do actually own. Your effort, your responses.
Okay, let's start there then, with the part we feel we can influence, the discipline, the practice. And Lombardi seems like the right place to begin, very uncompromising.
Oh, definitely. He had that famous line, didn't he? Practice does not make perfect.
Right, only perfect practice makes perfect, cuts right through the idea of just showing up.
It really does. That distinction is just everything. It demolishes the comfort of just putting in the hours, you know?
Yeah, like repetition alone isn't the goal.
Exactly. Repetition without focus, without real intention, it's just motion. You can practice doing something badly a million times.
And you'll just get really good at doing it badly.
Perfectly fluent in the wrong thing, yeah.
But that word, perfect, doesn't that sometimes trip people up? Especially if you're not, say, running football drills.
Yeah.
Like in creative work or knowledge work where things are fuzzier, can it lead to paralysis?
That's a really important question, and I think the way the Stoics might frame perfect helps here. It's not about a flawless outcome.
Okay.
It's about the presence and the intention in the process. So if you're, say, working on your decision-making, perfect practice isn't just signing off quickly. It's actually reviewing your biases, testing your assumptions right then and there. Or if you're leading a meeting, it's being fully tuned in, actively listening to everyone.
Not just waiting for your slot to talk.
Exactly. It's about the quality of your attention, moment by moment, iteration by iteration, making that as high as possible.
I like that reframing. Perfect practice is fully present practice.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we take that kind of focused effort and apply it to, well, the messy reality of a career or just life? Things often feel dictated by big systems, external stuff.
And that's where Seth Godin's idea comes in, which is quite powerful. He suggests we stop thinking about life as one long job we have to do for someone else.
And instead,
See it as a series of projects we choose.
projects we choose. How does that change things?
Fundamentally, it immediately shifts your sense of control internally. A job feels like an obligation, right? Something you have to do.
Yeah, definitely.
But a project that feels more like an exploration, something you choose to take on. And when you choose it, you reclaim a sense of agency. It lets you navigate those big, often confusing systems more strategically. You can create change that you find meaningful.
It fights back against that feeling of being powerless when you bump up against, say, bureaucracy or just corporate inertia.
Precisely. When you own the project, even if the system around it is clunky or slow, you realize, okay, I am still responsible for the quality of my next move, not the quality of the whole system's response.
My move, not their move.
Right. And that move doesn't have to be world-changing every time. The sources stress this. It happens bit by bit, move by move, day by day. Your strategy is like your compass through all that uncertainty, guiding those small, intentional, perfect steps.
And psychologically, it feels different too. Obligation versus choice. Mark Twain nailed this, didn't he, with his definition of work and play.
He did. Work is whatever you're obliged to do. Play is whatever you're not obliged to do.
So choosing the project turns the effort itself into something more like play, more like exploration.
Yes. And that shift is crucial for just surviving the inevitable friction of working with other humans or within any large structure. We know inertia is real. Bureaucracy can be maddening.
Tell me about it.
Judy Castrina had that great line, didn't she, about committees taking hours to put into minutes what could be done in seconds.
Ah,
If you approach it with that project owner mindset, you're just more likely to find creative ways around the roadblocks or maybe absorb the delays without letting it kill your motivation entirely.
okay. So we're committing to this perfect, present, intentional practice. We're pouring our best effort into the projects we choose to own. But what happens when all that diligence, all that strategy hits a brick wall? The stuff that's just completely out of our hands.
And this is where we pivot. This is where the humility comes in. Because for all the effort we exert, we have to accept that we don't control tomorrow. Seneca was warning about this centuries ago.
What did he say?
Something like, no one has had so much divine favor that they could guarantee themselves tomorrow, because fortune, or fate, is always spinning its wheel relentlessly.
That image of the spinning thread. It connects to the ancient Greeks, doesn't it? Clotho.
Exactly. Clotho, one of the fates. She spins the thread of each human life. And the thread isn't uniform, is it? It's woven with bright strands of success and triumph, but also dark strands of hardship and trial.
And it reminds you that life can just turn on a dime.
Yeah.
Instantly, no matter how well you practiced yesterday.
And the source material gives us these really stark examples of how radically that thread can twist. Both ways, actually.
Like Cormac McCarthy.
Yeah, look at McCarthy. Dedicates years, decades to his writing. Living this super focused, almost monk-like existence, sometimes in a cheap motel. Total dedication to the craft.
Right.
Then, completely out of the blue, there's a knock on his door. It's the MacArthur Foundation. A genius grant. $250,000.
Wow.
Now, his years of perfect practice meant he was ready to use that opportunity brilliantly, but no amount of practice could have forced that knock on the door. That was Clotho spinning.
But the twist can go the other way, too. Crushing trials.
Yeah.
Admiral Stockdale.
Admiral James Stockdale, high-ranking naval officer, shot down over Vietnam, endures 7 years in a POW camp.
Unbelievable.
He had zero control over his capture, no guarantee he'd ever get out, no idea if his sacrifice meant anything back home. His entire external world just vanished.
So Seneca's warning. It's not about being gloomy, it's just realism.
It's pure realism. The breaking day that sees someone proud may see them brought low by evening. That's a fundamental truth we have to somehow integrate. We are subject to random events, illness, political shifts, accidents, stuff way outside our ability to manage.
Okay, so if perfect effort doesn't guarantee the outcome we want, does that make the effort pointless? How do we reconcile these two things? This feels like where Stoicism really comes into play.
It absolutely does. This tension leads us straight to the Stoic response. It's the synthesis. And the core operating system here, the thing Stockdale himself credited with his survival.
The man who lived through that 7-year ordeal.
Yes. He said this ancient philosophy got him through it, and he kept studying it his whole life. The key is what's called the dichotomy of control.
The dichotomy of control. Sounds technical, but you're saying it's actually a practical tool.
It's the ultimate practical tool psychologically. It's very simple but profound. It says, divide the entire universe into just 2 categories. Basket 1. Things that are internal, things truly up to us. Our judgments, our opinions, our desires, our responses, our character, what we choose to do right now.
Things inside our own mind and will.
Exactly. Basket 2. Things that are external, things not up to us. Basically everything else. Outcomes, luck, other people's opinions, whether you get sick, whether you get that grant, Clotho's spinning thread.
So the key is knowing which basket something belongs in.
Yes. Because once you have that clarity, you know where to aim your perfect practice. You aim it squarely at basket 1, your internal world, your responses, your actions. You stop wasting energy trying to wrestle with basket 2.
And that frees up energy. That leads us to that interesting observation by Will Durant, the historian. He saw a kind of paradox in Stoicism.
He did. It's a crucial insight. Durant noted that, on paper, just reading the theory, Stoicism can sound, well, kind of cold and harsh. He actually called it a monstrous doctrine of an isolated and pitiless perfectionism.
You picture someone really detached, maybe unemotional, withdrawn.
Right. But then Durant looked at the actual people it produced throughout history, and the reality was the complete opposite.
What did he find?
He found it created people of incredible courage and saintliness and goodwill. He points to giants like Marcus Aurelius, the emperor philosopher, Epictetus, the former slave-turned-teacher, Cato the Younger, the principled Roman senator.
So why? Why does this philosophy of sort of detachment lead to such high character, even compassion?
Because all that energy you stop wasting trying to control the uncontrollable, trying to force outcomes, trying to manage other people's opinions, yearning for certainty that never comes, that energy doesn't just disappear.
It gets redirected.
It gets redirected entirely into basket one, into perfecting your character, refining your ethical responses, improving the quality of your intentions day by day.
So it's liberation, not isolation. You stop trying to force the world into your mold.
Which, paradoxically, makes you more connected and compassionate. You see the shared human condition, everyone's subject to that same spinning thread, and you're freed up to just deal with this moment, this challenge, with virtue.
Like Cato the Younger, standing against Caesar. He couldn't control the fall of the Republic.
No way. That was way outside his control. Basket two.
But he could control his own principles, his integrity.
Perfectly. That was basket one. He practiced unwavering principle right to the end. His strength wasn't in winning. It was in what he refused to compromise internally.
So the bottom line here isn't just thinking about philosophy, it's doing it.
Yeah.
Like Epictetus said.
Exactly his point. Don't talk about your philosophy, embody it. That's the synthesis right there. It marries Lombardi's perfect practice applied internally with Seneca's clear-eyed acceptance of external fate.
You practice virtue with that same perfect intention every day, whatever the external circumstances.
And that takes immense patience. Because changing your character, seeing the results of your ethical projects, that stuff is slow. It doesn't happen overnight.
Right. Geoffrey Chaucer called patience a conquering virtue.
It really is. That's how Garden's day-by-day approach actually works in the long run. It's sustained focus, not just for a sprint, but potentially for decades.
And part of that patience, that persistence, is holding on to what's true, even if the world around you seems to be going in a different direction. Booker T. Washington had something important to say about that.
He did. A really crucial point about principled persistence. He said basically, a lie doesn't become the truth, wrong doesn't become right, and evil doesn't become good just because it is accepted by a majority.
Wow. Powerful.
It is. It means if you're practicing perfectly, applying your principles with intention, you have to maintain that moral clarity, what the majority thinks. That falls into basket two, uncontrollable.
Your own principle, your own integrity.
Basket one, that's what you choose to maintain, regardless of popularity.
Okay, so if we weave all this together, the perfect practice focused on what we control, the radical acceptance of what we don't, the patience, the principle, it leads to a kind of philosophy of sufficiency, doesn't it? Like that old proverb.
Enough is as good as a feast. Exactly.
Meaning what in this context?
Meaning we don't need to control the whole banquet, the entire external world. We just need to practice perfectly within our own sphere, our own enough.
Stockdale controlled his response, his character, not the prison walls.
Right. McCarthy controlled his dedication, his writing habits, not the Grant Committee's decision.
Marcus Aurelius controlled his journaling, his reactions to the stresses of being emperor, not the outcome of the wars on the frontier.
Their strength came from perfecting their practice and their character within the very real constraints that Clotho or fate spun for them, not from achieving some impossible external control.
So the thread keeps spinning. Life keeps bringing triumphs and trials taking us places we didn't plan.
Relentlessly. But we're not just passively carried along. We are actively weaving our own patterns onto that thread.
Through our choices.
Through the character we choose to build.
Through the perfect present intention we bring to each moment, each day.
Yes.
So maybe the final thought for you, the listener, to mull over is this. If control over outcomes, over other people, over fortune is mostly an illusion, what specific part of your internal daily practice, your character, your effort, your patience, your moral clarity, what part deserves your most perfect, focused intention right now?